Burly Rockjaw Trogg. Grab the quest that's over this way.
You got my attention.
Nothing like a day of boar hunting, eh? Though, here in Coldridge Valley, there are so many boars, it almost takes the fun out of it. No need to get them charging. They're all angry and ready without any help. In fact, recently, there have been so many boars in the area, it's become dangerous for me to do my daily hunting. Long story short, I would appreciate... If you could kill some of the boars, I would appreciate it.
Watch your back.
Kill 12 boars. Gotcha. Thin the population out a bit. Nope, my inventory's full already. I need to replenish all the silver since we spent it all learning how to use two-handed swords. Go empty out what we're carrying for more space. A lot of stuff seems to stack only to like 5, so that's definitely hurting us. I'm definitely definitely a little bit retail pilled on that, because materials on vanilla, or not retail, not vanilla, retail now, they stack to like 1,000. Things just stack forever. It's really nice.
What's on your mind? Safe travels. What's on
Morning,
your
Stingray.
mind?
What's up, dude?
See you soon.
Bull's giving you a bit of trouble. You'll do you'll do well to avoid the fangs and claws and other sharp bits, yes?
Off with you.
Wonderful. Wolf meat should do nicely. No worries, Spexia. I wouldn't forget my part of the bargain. Here, one of these should fit you. Take the boar handler gloves, please. Oh, those are an upgrade.
Safe travels.
Those are huge.
Watch your back.
Coldridge Valley mail delivery. A little bit ago, eating breakfast right now. Nice. Breakfast at like 1 in the afternoon. Not a bad setup. I was supposed to be willing to do a favor for me last. A stack of letters came through the pass today, but I don't have time to send them along. They're all addressed to Talon Kenai. You can find them to the west down the road. He set up camp next to the frozen lake. What do you say? Can we do that? Finally not wearing gray quality gloves.
See you soon.
Not walking for a bit. Yeah, I saw your pictures on Discord. Pretty nice.
How are
Take good
ya?
pictures, my dude. Hope you're here to lend us a hand, Paladin. For the last Trogg attack, we could all use the help. We could use all the help we can get. I hear the buggers have been popping up all across the lands, and it seems Coldridge Valley is no exception. They've been spotted all over the hills to the southeast and to the frozen lake. That's not all. Just a few nights ago, they attacked and overran our camp to the west. We're a bit short-handed here, lass, and we need strong arms to help drive the Troggs back.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Sounds good to me. Here I go killing again. Go get the mail out of my inventory so I have the room to carry all the crap we're gonna get from killing everything. If thinning the population of Coldridge Valley is tantamount, apparently. It seems the start of Ironforge's stories is they are under siege by Troggs. Yeah, I also really like this zone in Winterspring. I don't know what it is about the winter zones in World of Warcraft, but I really like these zones.
What's on your mind?
Coldridge mail
Off
delivery.
with you.
You have something for me?
Yeah, good.
Thank you. I've been waiting for these letters for quite some time. Unfortunately, these letters aren't all for me. This one is addressed to Grellin Whitebeard. He's not too far away if you'd like to deliver it to him.
Watch your back.
Level 9. If I remember correctly, Grellin's camp is down the road to the southeast. No doubt he'll be eager to get his mail.
Yeah, good.
Let's keep getting the mail delivered. We have now found the Norman Reedus quest. We are now a mailman. Oh, it's like we're back to the messenger.
Hello.
Greetings, girl. I'm Grellin Whitebeard. I'm here to examine the threat posed by the growing number of trolls in Coldridge Valley. What have I found? It's a bit troubling.
Be good.
Something I can help you with? Ah, excellent. I've been waiting, but it's been a while since I received word from
Be
Ironforge.
good.
My brother Sinir and I were sent to different parts of Dunmorrow to investigate the threat posed by the trolls. The Senate has its hands full with the Troggs, so they have no need for further annoyances. From what I've seen, the trolls aren't well situated here in Coldridge Valley, mostly the southern cave. I'd say that the army will not be necessary. A few strong arms should be more than enough. Perhaps you'd like to assist in this endeavor? I have the authority to offer compensation for your help. See the cathedral? Yeah, it's cool. That cathedral's pretty sick. That was pretty dope, actually. We have a few really cool ones here in Buffalo. If I ever actually go downtown and go for a walk a bit, I'll take a few pictures and post them.
Keep your feet on the ground.
So I'm thinking that everything in the Eastern Kingdoms for the dwarf storylines and the Human Kingdom ones all seem to have a lot of political intrigue. Extra from the overlook right next to the cathedral? Yo, let me take a look. Hang on a second. Let me see this. Dude, that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. I don't have anything that looks that nice. I don't have any pictures anywhere to go that look that nice over here.
How are ya?
I feel like a lot of these quests, a lot of the storylines, are a lot of political intrigue between the House of Nobles and the Dwarven Senate. I was supposed to get this delicious scalding morn brew to Durnan Fur Cutter inside Anvilmar a while ago now. I had to deliver one to Grenlin here first. I'll never make it to Anvilmar before that brew runs cold. You look fast. Maybe you could make it. Sir, I am a paladin. This cup will only stay hot for 5 more minutes, and Durnan didn't order chili morn brew, so get going. Anvilmar is to the northeast, a settlement dug into the mountain. Thanks, Bexy, and don't forget to bring me back my mug.
Watch your back.
I think Dunmorrow is more interesting than things like Winterspring because of the politics and more important than the music. Winterspring just felt like fuck off, go kill things. I don't remember the storyline for Winterspring, so I don't actually know. I know the modern WoW version has a lot to do with understanding like the natural magics of the world, and there's a lot of like druidism steeped in the storyline there. I know there's a whole chain with the blue dragons and the remnants of the Legion from Mount Hyjal. But it definitely felt like the zone was setting up for Mount Hyjal to become a zone later on, but then they didn't end up making that go through. They ended up doing them using that zone of Hyjal for a raid, and then they didn't add it until Cataclysm. We'll get to that eventually, leveling through here. We'll end up finding out what the story is out there. We will learn. That's why I'm doing this, because I don't remember any of the stories from when I was growing up, because I didn't read half the quest text.
Hi. Off with you.
I am Durnan Fur Cutter. You have something for me?
Safe
Ah, good.
travels.
Now this will hit the spot. Let me take a small break while I enjoy this scalding moon brew.
Off with you.
Nothing like some scalding morn brew on a chilly Dunmorrow day to get things started right. Hot, hot, hot. That won't put spring in your step. I don't know what will.
Watch your back.
Now that hit the spot. Nothing like a piping hot, nay, scalding morn brew on a cold winter's day to warm your cackles of your soul. Here you go, Spexia. Be a pal and take this empty mug back to Nori for me.
See you soon.
Sure can. Yeah, when I was going through and like leveling up my first couple of characters back in like the middle of Wrath of the Lich King, I wasn't reading quest text. I was spamming through it. I didn't start reading quest text until I got to like Dragonblight. And then I never did take the time to go back and do like the old quest text or read them. I just blew through it to get the 2 achievements done to get the Lore Master title. It's like I didn't read like any of the quest. All the lore I ever got was going through and watching like Bellular or Novels videos on YouTube. I want to get the story firsthand. So far, I really, really like the, I really would love to see another, like, set of stories similar to, what Classic has for the Alliance, at least in the Eastern Kingdoms, because, like, it's definitely set up to do that with Anduin not being in the picture right now in retail. You can absolutely do another House of Nobles thing. So I really enjoy fantasy dwarves, just the stout, stubborn, but still friendly-ish demeanor. Yeah, dwarves are cool, especially in this game.
What can I do for you?
I trust the scalding morn brew got to Durnan on time. Do you remember bringing back my mug?
Safe travels.
Excellent, Spexia. You'd be surprised how many couriers I meet who forget to do something as simple as bring back the mug. Mugs don't grow on trees, or so they tell me. A little something for the effort. Thanks again for your help.
Watch your back.
Alright, let's continue the Coldridge cleanup. 6 expansions of Mary Sue, and this didn't matter. It's more of the fact that the expansions don't really tie together. That's really what it is Retail's expansions just don't... They start and end a story, and they never... They exist in their own little vacuums. And I think that's been Retail's issue for a while. Burning Crusade was very much... This is Burning Crusade. Outland is what matters. There's not a lot going on outside Outland. Wrath of the Lich King was... We're in Northrend. This is where we are. Cataclysm was just kind of all over the place due to how it was set up. Missa Pandaria was we're in Pandaria. Then we're in Warlords and we're in Draenor, and like we always are in specifically that endgame zone, and we're not anywhere else after that. It's not like how Vanilla was set up, where Vanilla takes you back and forth everywhere. A handful of devs who pushed Sylvanas to be the biggest fucking Mary Sue there was. No, it was a handful of devs that handled telling the story of Sylvanas to become a gigantic overscoped idea that they had to cut so much out of that now none of it makes any sense. Battle for Azeroth was an expansion that told 3 expansions worth of stories, so it accomplished none of those stories. That's what happened. There was a bunch of devs who did not understand what scope was, and that you can't do that much in one thing because there just isn't time or resources for it. That's what it was. Battle for Azeroth tried to do 3 expansions in one. So we started with, oh, it's going to be a war campaign, and then you ever wonder how you get to the end of it and feel like, wow, there's a lot missing here, because we went from a war campaign to instantly we're now in Nazjatar and Ajara is here, but why? That didn't get established. It felt like there was an entire chunk of everything missing there to explain and set that up. And then suddenly N'Zoth? Oh, okay, old gods now. How did we get here? And then Shadowlands just doesn't feel like Warcraft at all. It's completely devoid of what... It's one of those things of like, it's so ridiculous of what Shadowlands was trying to tell as a story, and that it's so disconnected from Azeroth. It's an entirely different plane, and none of the characters of Azeroth show... Morgraine shows up, and Draka shows up. We got, what, a cameo of Garrosh? Who else was in the expansion? Nobody else was in there. Like, Sylvanas and Anduin weren't even in the expansion, and they were the whole reason we were doing the expansion. Bane wasn't even part of it. It wasn't Azeroth. There was nothing about Warcraft included in that expansion. That's why it failed so bad. It's like, why do I care about any of this? This doesn't establish itself well enough for me to understand why this is important. It's just, okay. And on top of that, it's the cut content expansion. Fucking the constant overscoping of everything. That's what happens. Why do you think they had to rehire Metzen? They realized, oh, we have no idea how to run this story. Chris, could you come back, please? We're not gonna make you president of Blizzard and have you try to handle every single franchise. We want you to just do what you wanted to do in the first place. Because that was actually why Metzen left in the first place. Was he used to just work on WoW, and then they had him running creative director of the entire company. So he was managing Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, designing Overwatch, running World of Warcraft, setting up the Warcraft 3 remaster. And it was just too much. And that's why he was like, I can't do this anymore, guys. Like, I need a break. He burnt himself out. So now he's back and he's like, I will exclusively work on World of Warcraft. That's why he is only the creative director of WoW now. Because it is too much otherwise. Yeah, that's the crazy part, is WoW at its worst, its literal worst ever, still was better than anything else Blizzard put out. It somehow still was better than Diablo and Overwatch, and survived 2 other games just getting completely turned off effectively. Because Heroes and Hearthstone are basically on maintenance mode at this point.
How are you?
Excellent, I can go back to my leisurely hunting now. Thank you, Spexia. We don't need these, but we can take them for money. I do like money. Yeah, no, BFA was a catastrophic mismanagement of resources and a misunderstanding of how to adjust for scope. Understanding scope when you're designing anything is such an important thing. BFA was we want to do this. Oh, this would be really cool too. Oh, but this would also be really cool. It's like, you needed someone to go, guys, it's a war campaign expansion. Let's stick to that, because everything that followed the war campaign made sense and clicked really well. It was when we stopped talking about the war campaign that nothing made any sense anymore. That was the problem. Anything that didn't involve Pultiris and Zandalar, and then the war between the Horde and the Alliance over the Azerite and everything, and the escalation of the Fourth War, anything that wasn't that didn't make any fucking sense why it was happening.
What can I do for you?
When it was based in that, and it was all in that part of the game, then we're like, oh shit, okay, I get all of it. This works out really, really well. The really bad parts of BFA was the fact that we were just all over the place. Suddenly we're in Mechagon, suddenly we're in Najdatar, suddenly the old gods are attacking. It was all just, where is all this coming from? And then you pair in really awful systems that doubled down on all the worst parts of Legion. So you end up with things like Azerite armor, the necklace, the way that all that progression worked, the infinite grind of fucking Azerite. And the worst part is like, that shit all was designed and locked in really early in Legion, because they start work on the next expansion right away. And they saw that people immediately were like, okay, there's a lot of parts that people seem to really like about artifact weapons. Okay, this is good. Problem is by the time Tomb of Sargeras came out in Legion, everybody fucking hated the artifact weapons, and they hated the entire system around the artifact weapons. To which they're already like finishing up most of BFA, and those systems are locked in, and they're just like, oh no, they hate this shit, and we're already locked into this, and we can't just stop making it. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is real bad. So we ended up with a shitty fucking system everybody fucking hated, and they couldn't do anything about it. Because you can't just delay an expansion. Oh, sorry, we have to delay Battle for Azeroth for another 1.5 years. You know what all the WoW players are going to do? They're going to peepo leave. Nobody's going to stick around for 22 months of downtime with no new content because you need to redesign the entire systems of the expansion. It's just, no one's going to stay around. Came in for a long hiatus to play BFA with friends. I didn't even reach max level. Fuck the garrison grind. The garrison grind? That was all skippable by that point. You didn't have to do any of that in Warlords. And by the time BFA rolled around, the fucking mission table was fucking worthless. I think I sent out missions like 4 times ever in Shadowlands. That one was even more like completely worthless. Then they finally realized, oh wow, nobody wants this. Let's get it out of the game. The Legion mission table was fucking stupid. That was another one of those of, guys, no one liked this in Draenor. Why the fuck do you think we want this still here? This is stupid. Yeah, from Warlords to Shadowlands, every one of those expansions is just pockmarked and made worse by a holdover system that nobody asked for, and that most people were asking for to have removed from the game, and they just kept putting them in. Yeah, that's a lot of where it came from. Is it was misreading the signals that players were giving and listening to the wrong feedback. Then you get to Dragonflight and go, all right, and then they really took the time to listen to correct feedback, and now the game's like, oh wow, everyone's like, wow, the game's really good now. Whatever expansion you had to make garrisons and max level was 100. I do remember actually get to 100. I got to 100, but after that I felt like there was just jack shit in the garrison grind. Yeah, that was definitely Warlords of Draenor. The garrisons were seen even by Blizzard as a colossal and collective misstep, which was again the same situation that BFA ran into and Legion ran into. Was by the time they realized the problem, it was far too late to change it, because it was like, oh shit, this isn't gonna work. This was way more than we could handle, but the time frame's already locked in. They've already locked in a date. The announcements are already gone out. You can't change it at that point. Like, you're running legal risk at that point. You literally cannot change it. So you have to roll with it, even if you know it's a bad idea. That's just game dev. Especially when, like, a lot of the times where these growing pains and problems with these systems come up, you're basing it off of you have to go off data you have. And when Legion was getting sent out, and the initial response to artifact weapons was really good at the launch of Legion, they put all that stuff into making the necklace for BFA, making up the Azerite armor system. So then you got to Tomb of Sargeras. BFA is mostly done and getting prepped for a beta push, an alpha and beta push, you know, mid Antorus patch. Well, you get to Tomb of Sargeras and Antorus for 7.2 and 7.3. And now you get player sentiment around artifact weapons and the Azerite and the artifact power grind is, this is fucking awful. This fucking sucks. Everyone hates this. And you've already got the systems fleshed out, built in. The entire expansion's been planned and built up around this entire system. So now you're sitting there going, oh shit, oh fuck. Hopefully they'll like it. They might like this. It'll be alright. A lot of people liked it at the beginning. This will work out. We got it this time. Well, then you get it in the hands of players, and it's the start of and it's beta. You've got 4 or 5 months to launch, and all of your feedback from beta is, we hate this. This sucks. This is bad. All you go into at that point is panic mode. Because now you have to ship, and everyone hates it. And that's the problem of the gamble, is you don't know. You have to go off the data you have. You can't go off the data you don't have, because you can't start an expansion on a patch where you have 8 months to work on it. It's not how it works. And when you have a core system of the expansion you have to build around, you have to spend all that time designing it, and the expansion's built around that setup. It's just, there were a lot of gambles they took that turned out people really didn't want those fucking systems. PoE community had a fucking field day at that time. PoE released Delve, which also used an Azerite style as a resource, and Delve is considered one of the best leagues. Yeah, the way PoE implemented it, I feel like, was probably a hell of a lot better. PoE implemented a grind like that in a much better way. But it also works way better in a game that's set up like an ARPG. The big reason systems like that don't work in games like World of Warcraft is because MMOs function on lockouts. They have they have frames where you can't just grind. Like WoW style MMOs have, you can't do like RuneScape where I can go kill the same boss 200 times a day and just grind out the items I want. I want to go to a raid. A raid has a weekly lockout. I can only go kill those bosses once a week. So that reward I can only attempt one time every 7 days, every like 7-day period. So when you want me to constantly be farming something and my progression's locked in and intrinsically tied to that grindable resource, but the grind is once a week, if I miss a week, I feel like I'm falling behind and don't have catch-up. But then it also falls down the slope of, well, now, when I do come back, now I need to do all of this extra shit to be caught up to where everybody else who's been playing constantly already is. But how do you set that up to where it's not too fast, that you burn players out too quickly on it, but then not too slow to where you just disenfranchise people? And that was the problem, is we never got to that point to where that made sense. So it just was a miss constantly, and it was miss after miss after miss after miss, because then they're also trying to juggle making sure the game functions around a league system, because they want Mythic Plus to be an e-sport that, last time I checked, almost nobody fucking cares about or watches.
Well met.
Oh, those light-blasted trolls. Takes a few breaths and seems to settle down a bit. A group of them came in the night and stole my journal. I knew better than to trust that good-for-nothing apprentice. Well, I found your journal, so don't worry about it.
Safe
Inventory is
travels.
full.
Ah, fuck, my inventory's full. Hang on. That was where the clamor for Classic came from. Wasn't so much that people actually wanted vanilla back. They wanted a game that wasn't, okay, here's World of Warcraft the job expansion. What do you mean by that? It means you need to treat the game like it's a job, or you are forever behind and will never get to do endgame content and will be locked out of groups forever. Because you need to do this spreadsheeted checklist of things every single day, and if you miss any of them, you're fucked. Everyone hated it. That's why the push for Classic got so heavy. People wanted to go back to the game that was fun to play. Oh, we got a pouch. Holy shit, we have inventory space. I didn't even see it get picked up. Yeah, that's the biggest part WoW ran into, was that. That's where the push for Classic and all the Classic era servers came from. It was entirely from that situation. I don't have a bag bar for whatever reason, is why I have to cycle back for this. Thankfully they finally seem to have figured out the players didn't want all that shit, and Dragonflight doesn't have all that shit. Thank fuck.
What's on your mind?
Problems we've had here are indicative of what's happening elsewhere in our lands. By Magni's beard, we have some troubles ahead of us. We can only hope that the king and the senate are taking steps to deal with the threat the Troggs pose.
Keep your
Take
feet
the
on
bear
the
shawls.
ground.
We got some more money from that.
How are you?
Dragonflight had the most fucking cringe ads I've ever seen, though.
Safe travels.
I think really the problem there is that Dragonflight's biggest issue with its opening cinematic and the way it advertises the expansion is Blizzard really thinks that people are going to get pogged up over dragons. And that's fine. Some people probably, lore nerds probably are all pogged up over the dragons. Well, then go back and look at the vanilla cinematic, look at the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic, the Illidan cinematic, the Legion cinematic, the Warlord cinematic, even the Pandaria cinematic, the Cataclysm cinematic, the BFA cinematic, hell, even the Shadowlands cinematic. What do all those cinematics do? They get you pogged out of your fucking mind for World of Warcraft. They're fucking cool. And then Dragonflight's like, yeah, flying around, Stony Tony, my dudes. Oh, it's not even the fucking, People want to be, oh, WoW's turning into a furry game. Motherfucker, we had Tauren from fucking vanilla. Day one. We had Tauren and elves. We've always been the sexy fucking character in furry game. That's nothing new. We have Tauren, Vulpera, Pandaren. We have more furry characters than fucking Final Fantasy does. This game's always been horny for that. Come on. That shit's... Stop taking yourself so seriously. You have cringe... It's not cringe, it's... You're cringe because you still have, I'm 14 and I'm going to take myself super seriously. I can't do that. That's super cringe and weird people do that. Relax. Tried to pog people up for Dragonflight cringe ads and smug anthro dragons. It just came down to they tried to pog people up on what's not Warcraft. We needed a cinematic and advertisements with fucking... What the cinematic should have been was fucking people fucking standing, like, you should have seen Razageth doing some fucking crazy shit in the cinematic, fucking starting up some crazy big storms and shit and some big damage. Dude, we fucking needed to see that shit. We needed to see some fucking, show the evokers shooting fucking their big damage, their fucking disintegrates that do shitloads of fucking damage, or their fucking big cool abilities. That's what would have gotten people pogged up. The whole, explore the Dragon Isles and all this and the exploration and shit. That ain't gonna get people pogged up, man. Nobody cares. What do you think this is, RuneScape? You gotta have action. Action gets people pogged up about World of Warcraft. Yeah, even going back to the Warcraft games. Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 had fucking big action pogged up cinematics. That's Dragonflight's problem, is nobody gets pogged up over it because it's like, okay, resident sleeper. Yeah, dude, people bat chest the shit out of Warcraft 2 cinematic. Warcraft 2, fucking Grom freeing the orcs when he kills Manaroth. That shit fucking gets people pogged up. The fucking when fucking Archimonde dusts fucking he breaks the sandcastle of Dalaran and it just destroys the fucking city. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's cool. That's why it's really funny when I hear people talk about continuity errors in World of Warcraft. It's like, dude, there's so much in Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 that Metzen even made blue posts back in Classic of, yeah, guys, I get it. I'm sorry that this doesn't make any sense, but I had to change this because it was dumb and it didn't work otherwise. Or when he forgot about how the Draenei started up and had to apologize and go, I'm sorry, I changed it because it just didn't make any fucking sense. That's why it works this way now. Like, that's where those come from, is a lot of those things that Metzen's changed over the years was entirely because he went back to go, like, make the next thing and went and read over, like, all right, let's see where I came from on this, and looked at it and went, what the fuck was I thinking? This is stupid. This doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's why it got changed. That's why he's not scared to retcon things. It's like, wow, I was a fucking awful writer. Why did I do that? Oh yeah, the ones in Warcraft 3 were really good. I still miss old gross Draenei that still exist in the game. Yeah, the broken largely got wiped out in lore is why. Like, they're still around, but they're not like they're a lot of them are more in line with if you play a shaman, you'll interact with them a hell of a lot more, but there's not a ton of them around is why. Like, a lot of them allied with Illidan, or they allied with the Naga, or they were just simply wiped out through enslavement. So, like, they didn't really survive very well. Like, the only ones who really are still around are the ones that allied with Nabundu. So, like, the ones that didn't ally with Nabundu largely went fucking crazy and then became just aggressive, like, Unga Bunga caveman enemies. They basically devolved backwards. Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about with Warcraft 2. I'm saying, like, that's the same thing with Warcraft 3, is that the cinematics got people pogged off. People got fucking excited. I didn't play Warcraft 2, so I don't know a lot of the other cinematics. I only know the intro cinematic for Warcraft 2. I gotta actually go back and actually play Warcraft 1 and 2 at some point. My journal. They took it away to the cave. The one that had it. It was a big brute with some odd markings on his skin and face. I didn't get much better look than that. You've had some luck with the trolls. Maybe you can go back and get it for me.
See you soon.
Go get it back from me. I gotta get the other box. I didn't grab that over here. Dad, I don't actually know a lot in Warcraft 1 and 2's story and cinematics for sure. I gotta actually go back and play that. Should play Warcraft 2. The origin of Sylvanas will make you mad. She's such a weird fucking character. Dude, Sylvanas is a weird fucking character all forever. If you actually go through and look at her lore from start to finish, her character just has never really made any sense at all. She's been very all over the place. She's a character that just, no one could ever decide what they wanted to do with her. She's been all over the place since her conception. They tried really hard, and like credit to the writer for her book of really like doing her best to really try and establish her character to make some sense. Kerrigan's another one of like they didn't know what they wanted to do with the character. Like I prefer what they did with her in StarCraft 2 because you get a lot more depth to her personality and like actually get to establish a character. So there's actually something there. Because she's extremely shallow, and like you know more about Nova in StarCraft 1 than you know about Kerrigan, and Kerrigan's a main fucking character in StarCraft 1. Same with Jim. Like Jim, you know basically nothing about in StarCraft 1. At least in StarCraft 2, he has like a character arc. StarCraft 2 was definitely where Metzen went like, all right, we're gonna make another StarCraft. Pull out my story for StarCraft 1, and what the was I drunk when I wrote this? What the fuck? Throw this shit out. We'll start this over. Yeah, they start Sylvanas. Sylvanas was a character that's gone down several paths of we want to take this direction with the character, and then realized no, that direction's stupid. We can't do that, and that's why they kind of set her off to the side. Was let's put Sylvanas away now that we've kind of tied her story up, and we can bring her back later when we actually know what we want to do with her. So that's why she's on the shelf with Illidan of. Just gonna put you away for now and we'll come back to this. Yeah, StarCraft 1 was just a love letter to Warhammer. That's why the story got effectively thrown out and recycled and redone. Was if we keep going with this, Games Workshop is going to sue our ass off. Yeah, we should probably avoid that. On top of the fact that it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's a fun game with a really nonsensical story. Like, that's why I laugh when people are like, I wanted more of what StarCraft 1's story was. You just wanted Warhammer, that's why. They couldn't do that. Blizzard's not Games Workshop. Oh yeah, no, it's StarCraft started as they wanted to make Warhammer the RTS video game. And Games Workshop didn't think it was going to work out, which is funny because now the Total War franchise is literally held up by the Warhammer games. Because of StarCraft's success. That's the funniest part about it. Total War Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 would nowhere near be as successful as they are if StarCraft 1 didn't set off what it did. I definitely know that lore. It is really funny that Games Workshop pivoted on that deal. It's really funny. They shot themselves on that one. But we got the StarCraft franchise, so I'm pretty happy because I definitely prefer the StarCraft franchise. I love the model designs for the figurines for Warhammer, don't get me wrong, and I like a lot of the ideas of Warhammer, but I definitely prefer the StarCraft franchise. I think is much better handled as far as the story goes. I care more about the characters, I care more about the world, things are more believable and make way more sense. It's not completely all over the place and hog wild and fast and loose with its storytelling. It maintains a concept. Whereas I feel like Warhammer's just everywhere, all the time, all at once. And it's just too much. I think the one place Warhammer does really, really well with its storytelling is the Space Marine games. Which is why I'd still really love to see a, like, some kind of like single player over the shoulder or like Doom style boomer shooter StarCraft game that can like really sit and tell a narrative experience in the story in the game with a really nice gameplay loop. Because Warhammer 40k Space Marine does an incredible job. Bolt Gun does an incredible job. I'm expecting really big things from Warhammer Space Marine 2 because it looks really good. It looks like they really understand what they're building off of. You know, like those games give me from Warhammer what StarCraft just is, whereas they just really don't anywhere else. The only Warhammer I care about is the Astartes fan videos, and hopefully for upcoming video cinematics and Steam Pirate. Like, oh yeah, but like that's the thing is that all started as fan content. Like that's not even official Games Workshop content. Is what sucks. Is like that was entirely fan made. It's like, come on, why did Games Workshop have to hire that guy to get the shit together? That blows. Like, shoutouts to that guy, but come on, GW, get your shit together. Why couldn't you guys do this? Why did you need this guy to start it? Make you go, huh? We should be doing that. It's definitely one of those that makes me go like, why do you not know the direction of your own fucking franchise?
How are you?
Any luck?
Be good.
Wonderful, thank you. Many thanks for retrieving my notebook. Well, it would seem that the troll situation here in Coldridge Valley is under control and not much cause for worry. After I put the finishing touches on my report, I'll need someone to courier it to my brother's center. Walking staff is worth the money here.
Safe travel.
I was planning on sending my apprentice to my brother's center with my report, but I feel much better, but at least we're placed in more reliable hands. That is, of course, if you wouldn't mind. You'd have to take the tunnel to get to Karnos. Speak with Mountain Thalos before going through the tunnel. It's completely infested with Troggs now. Follow the road back to Anvilmar, then keep heading east to the tunnel. Thalos is stationed nearby.
See you soon.
Okay. Because GW only see money. Some are D&D saying, I want money from your creations. Yeah, GW is definitely very low on the rung. Like, Blizzard's made some fuck-ups. But I would say GW is still much lower in the court of... They've lost hell of a lot more in the court of public opinion. GW's definitely shot themselves in the foot a hell of a lot harder. Which is saying something. Like, I think GW's definitely gone above and beyond to make their player base and customer base hate them. Wizards of the Coast has also done a very effective job between Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering of making their players fucking hate them. Blizzard may have spent a lot of its public goodwill, but somehow has been able to still come out relatively safe for it. Goodness specs, this town is not well suited for the likes of me. There are many nasty creatures here, and as there were Nomergon before the accident. You have my belongings. If you don't, then who knows what the trolls have done with them now.
You have a great
Huzzah, you found them. You're an absolute savior, my friend. Here, it's not much, but it's something for your trouble. Thank you.
Be seeing you.
Alright. Free money. I do like money. So I think that's all of Coldridge. Yeah, I think we can leave Coldridge now. I think we'll get back to Karnos, and then I gotta call it a morning. Yeah, it's definitely for as far as scope of the game goes, I'm much more optimistic about WoW nowadays than I used to be.
Well met.
The rest of the IPs, I'm not really sure. Can't speak for everybody else. Everything else is up in the air. WoW, at least with Metzim back and them having a much more grounded and understanding of what players actually want and what people want out of each aspect of the game, definitely think scope is a thing that's coming in. As I say, it looks like Dragonflight definitely fell over on what do we really have time to do? Definitely seems to be a couple of things. You can see where we had to cut that. Well, that had to get cut out. Sorry, couldn't do this.
What can I do?
But hopefully going forward, scope is reined in a little bit. bring it in. Healthcare specs here. The tunnel to Dunmoreau is infested with Troggs and not safe for travel. If you have any pressing business in Dunmoreau, I'll have to ask you remain in Anvilmar until the tunnel is safer.
Safe travel.
Well, if Whitebeard is sending you to Dunmoreau on important business, I can't very well stop you, can I? At least let me provide you with some advice and directions.
Be good.
Troggs in the tunnel are extremely hostile. Haven't shown any hesitation in attacking travelers through the tunnel. You seem to be tough enough, though, so you should probably be safe. Directions: if you're going to speak with Center, you'll find him in Karnos. Make your way through the tunnel, and after you come out of the other side, just keep following the road. You'll run right into Karnos.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Okay. Hands a spring
Honored, I'm
sprocket.
sure.
Hey, you look like a hardy adventurer. If you're planning on braving the past, do you suppose you could bring a package to the inn in Karnos? Planning on stopping at the inn, right? If you make it through the past, you'll definitely want to take a breather there. Anyway, bring this to Thanok Frosthammer, the innkeeper's assistant. I can't get through the pass myself, and it'll be days before a mountaineer escort comes through.
Very well, then.
Alright. Off we go. Yeah, that's the one thing I'd love to see. Apparently, Microsoft's really put out a statement that they're cool with Blizzard exploring dormant IPs if they're willing to do it. So apparently, going in, Microsoft's already willing to fund the stuff. Blizzard just has to have the idea and the will to actually put the work into it. So that'll be neat to see if they actually end up bringing back some of the IPs that have gone dormant over the years. Simply because, sorry, we can't monetize this to hell and back, so it's not making us money, so we're not going to make anything out of it. Can't decide if we want to keep playing Monster Hunter World or should continue the Minecraft grind. Yeah, definitely the, where am I at? I'm not going to pog up over StarCraft Ghost. I'm going to believe when I see it, and their current track record with how games release right now. Yeah, did Activision put out Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and that was really good? They did. But then Crash Bandicoot immediately got Crash Team Racing, which I'm not super excited about. It's a racing game. Like, let's just go play Mario Kart. I'm not going to get pogged up over that, but when you look at, you know, Call of Duty, you look at Here's the Storm, you look at Overwatch, I'd be worried they'd go, oh, we'll make it another multiplayer game. We can monetize it. It's like, I'll wait and see. Let me... Not this BlizzCon. I'll wait till next BlizzCon and they actually announce something new for an IP that's not World of Warcraft that's going to make me excited. Because so far, anything that's not World of Warcraft has yet to make me excited in a very long... The last time I was excited for anything that wasn't World of Warcraft, Legacy of the Void came out. Legacy of the Void's announcement was the last time I was excited for anything outside of World of Warcraft. And to be fair, I wouldn't mind esports for StarCraft coming back, because StarCraft esports were actually fun to watch. World of Warcraft esports fucking suck, and they need to just take it out of the game. No one wants to watch it, no one wants to play with it, and clearly none of the devs want a balance around it. It doesn't need to be there. StarCraft was absolutely the superior esport, and they should have just kept working on that. Everybody much more enjoyed watching that. I loved watching the StarCraft tournament every year. Oh yeah, that's because StarCraft is actually a good game without even being an esport. It doesn't need to be built and designed around being an esport. That was the best part. The only parts I didn't like was when custom game stuff got nerfed because it had to get nerfed in PvP and they didn't have the means to properly balance around that to where, okay, we can balance this to where we can change this to, okay, so this will only be, like, this will nerf in player versus player matches, but it doesn't affect custom games. That's the only part that bothered me with that. And it only bothered me because they kept nerfing the Hellbats and the flamethrowers on the Hellions. That's the only reason it made me sad. I didn't like those changes. I understood why they changed it. I didn't like those changes. That's entirely what that is.
Hello. Be good.
Set our Hearthstone. To watch random StarCraft 1 streams from time to time. Yeah, I was pretty pogged up when Beast was playing the N64 version of StarCraft 1. That was pretty huge for me. I'm gonna play thousands of hours StarCraft 2. The custom game engine was better than Warcraft 3 one. Yeah, it was the exact same Warcraft 3 custom game engine, which wasn't awful, but I definitely wanted to see an expansion of that, because I remember hearing about how amazing Warcraft 3's custom game lobbies were, and I really wanted to see StarCraft 2 pop off for that, but it was effectively the same lobby. If you had like a map editor or a map designer ever added to StarCraft 2, it would have been fucking huge. It would have been fucking gigantic. But that being said, I have to go get prepped for work, so put this in. I mean, like, if you could, like, totally custom maps. I'm not even saying, like, make custom games. I mean, like, really, like, from the ground up, do a shitload to it. There was always a map. I never found it then. Must be buried in a menu I never found. Oh, yeah, I didn't know there was a map editor. Never mind then. I don't know what it needed then. I don't know. So made a full FPS map in StarCraft 2. I had no idea. News to me. I guess I should have stuck around a little longer then, huh? Well, that being said, we'll come back to StarCraft 2 at some point. I would love to go back through StarCraft 2 and actually finish StarCraft 1 someday. That'll definitely probably go on my my backlog. But we're gonna call World of Warcraft a morning here. Guys, I need to go